I am one of those individuals who didn't volunteer. I was invited. I discovered Cycling Without Age less than 2 years ago. It would be 2 years in August that I even heard about this. And my first thing I did was I looked around quickly to see who else was doing it, and this is what Maryland looked like 2 years ago. There's one little green dot at the bottom in the back. You may not be able to see it. That's one trishaw ridden by one individual, and it works for her community, but it wasn't the model that I wanted to follow. So I added a chapter near Annapolis. My chapter looks completely different. We currently have over 30 volunteers trained, and 2/3 of them are giving rides. We are in our second season. Our first one, we started out with one partner organization. It's actually in the lower left, Sunrise. And then I ended up with too many volunteers and not enough rides going out. So I took my little personal trailer and started taking the trishaw around to other places, and were able to connect with 3 other assisted living facilities. Ginger Cove in the upper corner actually loved it so much that they bought their own trishaw over the winter, and they just did their first ride last Friday. So we have 2 chapters now in my county, and we actually did a group ride. Whoops, there, a group ride. This group ride is actually, I don't know what they're doing. One of my oldest pilot, actually, who's over 80, took the grandmother out for a ride along with one of her daughters. Her other daughter came along, and a whole bunch of the grandkids, and this was what a group ride looked like last year. This year, group rides look like this. We added 2 more trishaws over the winter, and we added some bright high-vis vests because our infrastructure is so-so, nothing like here. And this is how things are functioning right now. But how did I get from knowing nothing to this in 2 years? It was teamwork. And when Ollie asked me to come talk about teams, I'm like, I don't know, I didn't ever thought about it this way. So for me, it ended up being finding people with leadership experience and then listening to them. I had already been in conversation with the local bike advocacy group because of infrastructure concerns I had for my own daughter. So, I don't know why I'm blinking. He was a retiree, he had contract experience as a government contractor. After he retired, he participated in a year-long leadership development program to raise up community leaders. And out of that grew the bike advocacy nonprofit that he was running. So when I started building my program, and I had, like Greg, grand ideas about what this was going to look like, because I was looking at all these wonderful pictures on social media, he kind of kept my feet on the ground and put some guardrails up and kept me from overextending. And that was good. And then as I proved that it was successful, I proved that there was interest, then I started thinking about year 2 and what that plan would look like, and realized for it to be successful, I needed buy-in from my volunteers. So I reached out to about 8 of my more active pilots and invited them to be an advisory team so they could help keep my feet on the ground for year 2. And more luck than good planning, I ended up with a team that had a broad range of skills and knowledge that I lacked, and I listened. And they made all the difference in us being able to move forward over into year 2. And then the third thing was, from the beginning, as I started doing my info sessions, my trainings with my pilots, is I always said, I'm not an expert. I don't know much more about this than you do, so we're going to learn together, and I need you to share your thoughts and insights as we move forward, and we'll adjust as we learn together. And that has worked exceptionally well. So that's all I have to offer.